So I recently had the privilege of spending a week over in Glasgow, helping two CUs there with mission activities. One CU at Glasgow University were doing an entire week of mission. Myself and a couple of other speakers from UCCF teamed up, and we had a packed week of events. We had 2 lunch bars every lunchtime where we offered a free sandwich lunch for students and tackled some big questions about Christianity, and in the evening a more evangelistic focused meeting for people who wanted to go further. And across the week we covered almost every topic you can imagine. We covered sexuality and suffering and science and the environment and the Bible. And on the last day, really focused on Jesus, his uniqueness, and the evidence for the resurrection. And what really encouraged me, I was responsible for doing half of the lunch bars, was just seeing the sheer number of students who came. Almost every lunchtime, we had the student bar where we were packed out. Loads of Christian students had brought friends. There were great questions from the audience, and really encouraged to see students tracking with us, coming back day after day after day, to explore all these big questions, many of them then going to the evening meetings and seeing a great response in terms of people wanting to sign up to go further through things like Christianity Explored Alpha, those kind of things. And then the other highlight of the week was on the Thursday night of the Mission Week. I went over to another campus in Glasgow, into Glasgow Caly University, and worked with the CU there. There's quite a small CU on that campus. And myself and 4 other speakers, we did an event at the student bar because the CU find it hard to find other space on campus. And it was merely a question event. Myself and there's 3 other speakers sat on stools and answered questions for 2 hours. And although the CU is only about 20 or so, goodness knows, something like 50 or 60 people must have come to that event. In fact, so many people came. I think it was one of the best attended events they said they'd ever had. But we kind of spilled out of our area of the student bar and ended up sort of crashing into the main area, which meant the audience grew because I think people came over to see what was going on. And I was very conscious as we got questions, particularly around sexuality and identity and gender, and all these really big topics. I was sitting there thinking, oh gosh, we're dealing some big stuff here, and there's the entire back wall of the student bar covered with rainbow flags and goodness knows what. I was sort of waiting for the protests to break out, because although we were being respectful in what we were saying, we were obviously touching on some really difficult questions. And what was interesting, one of the UCCF workers got talking to some of the students from the main bar area who'd kind of crept over and were listening, and I was really struck by one of the comments he'd fed back. One girl I think he was talking to had said that she just found it really interesting and really exciting to see people talking about things like sexuality and gender in a way that was honest, and in a way that didn't duck away from differences, but was also respectful. She went on to say, really here on campus, there's not any space we have to talk about these big questions in this kind of way. And it was just so refreshing to see Christians leading the way. And I think that really encouraged me. As Christians, we can sometimes assume that everybody in the culture is hostile, everybody in the culture thinks differently to us, everyone in the culture wants to shut us down. And here was a message from a student saying, no, actually we want to talk about these big things and hear what Christianity has to say. And it was wonderful to see over half the audience that night were non-Christians had been brought by their friends, and were really able to ask all kinds of questions, and we had opportunity after opportunity to share how the gospel and Jesus answer these deepest questions, both of the head and the heart. So it was an exciting week of ministry there in Glasgow. Great to see lots of responses, lots of engagement, and one of the things we love doing at SOLAS is partnering with CUs as well as with churches and other Christian groups in order to help them do this kind of evangelism that takes the gospel of Jesus out of the churches into the public square and meets non-Christians where they are. Because when you do that, you find they're ready to listen.